Hi, I've got a review for you today. Well, this is going to be a walk around video of one of these little Chinese mini excavators. This one is an INFRONT YFE18. That's going to be brand and model number of it. Uh, Again, this will be just a walk around, point out a couple of things that I liked and a couple of things that I didn't like about it, which is why I went with it. And I'll get a video of some operation here shortly for you. So, but to start off here for you, this is not the mini excavator. This is quite a bit bigger than those, actually. I think this one's considered a 1.8 ton, although they really don't weigh that much. If you can see it over in the corner there, I've got another little machine. The same auction, I was able to pick up a little skid steer. And I took them both down on the trailer together and weighed them. Together, they were 4,140 pounds. This is supposed to be 3,500 pounds by itself. So take that for what it is. I was a little bit depressed to see the weight difference there. That means that each one of these is probably closer to 2,000 pounds. This might be like 2,500 and that one might be 1,500. But anyway, this is a bigger machine. It's heavier built all the way around, which is something that I like. Let me get you some close-ups of that. Right here on the push blade, this one has extra bracing on it all the way across. It's got, bigger material here, thicker stuff here, and even the thickness here. That's solid 1/4 inch steel there. Our tracks on these are a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker. They do not get the best traction though. I put the blade down when I was playing with it earlier and was spinning pretty good. Also, on the note of the tracks, somebody else pointed this out. You have 1, 2, 3 of the idler pulleys on this. All of your other ones have 2. Sorry, all of the ones with the smaller tracks have 2. This one is pilot control, which will take a little bit of getting used to. It's a little unintuitive, I guess. You've got your joystick here for forward and reverse, your cab rotation, and your bucket. And then that one is your boom arm and that arm. I'm not sure what that one's called. And then this, you have foot control pedals. That locks them in, and that's a footrest. Flip it down and kick it side to side, and they move things. This one does my hydraulic thumb, which this model comes with standard. And this one does your dozer blade. Coming around to the back of the machine here, it has a pretty solid roll bar on it. It's still not the most steady because it doesn't have any support out front, but this up to about here is pretty dang solid. You've got, I think this is a 3/8 thick piece of steel bracing down at the bottom, so it would offer some protection. Now, one of the slight annoyances, this seat doesn't fold up to get to your gas can without removing a little wing nut here. And you got to take that off each time before you can flip your seat up. Or if you leave it off, the seat will rattle around some. And Probably wear out your little pads here. Also, your gas can or gas filler is slightly mislocated, is the best thing to say. You need a funnel and a long part on your gas can in order to actually get into it. Minor annoyances. The choke cable, just like everyone else has said that has reviewed one of these, is really, really chintzy feeling. Something else kind of weird about this model is this is the stack of keys that comes with it. 2 ignition, 2 for your back hatch, and 2 for your hydraulic reservoir. All right, here's something interesting that I didn't know before. This has got another wing nut here. Ouch. Pop that up. And that kind of opens to give me full access to the side of this. That's fantastic. So we took off a pleat up here under this, and as soon as you take that off, this side swings open. So you got access to your hydraulic pump, some of the lines here, and just opens up the whole engine bay. You got the little starter back there. Up under this thing, let me stick that up out of my way. Back in here, under that plate that you got to take off, look at that. You got your whole array of the hydraulic lines and stuff. There's a lot in this. And down here, I believe that is a little hydraulic accumulator. At least that's what it looks like. Or a surge damper. Now, I've just looked all around here as much as I can. This model says that it has an oil cooler, and I can't find it. Unless they're considering that whole block part of the oil cooling or hydraulic oil. A couple other things to note out here. This one is not made out of the cast iron. It's still a pretty thick, hefty piece, but it's not the counterweight piece. You got good 3/8 looking steel here. At least I'm guessing that's 3/8. Some of their other pieces up under here, we got 3/8 and 1/2 inch steel. So even if it is the junky Chinese steel, it's still going to be pretty strong. We had to fight that piece back in quite a bit there. Your fit, what do they call it? Fit and function, or function and fit, is not super tight on this machine. Let's just say that. But that goes back on. One of the other small things on this machine to notice that's kind of weird, kind of annoying, is it doesn't have an hour meter. Although for me, I really don't care. I'm not trying to sell this. I'm going to be using it. So I'll just have to try to keep track a little bit of how much use I'm doing. One more thing here on the negative notes is that this has bolts going through here. The internet says that you want pins that go through there. This model didn't have them. You had to go down a model, and when you do that, you lose your longer tracks. These are about 1/2 foot longer, so that should give me a little bit more stability. I don't know how big of a deal that is really, but I decided to go with the bolts. Now I want to point out some of these may look like they're greased already, but like this has that needle point grease bearing. That one's all rusty. A couple of them look like they had been greased, but when you start looking close, like here, you can see a little bit of grease down inside there, but that's like paint. That's not grease. So it needs to be gone over completely. I mean, this one, that looks dry. So I gotta take my time, go over and hit every one of the grease points in here. The last kind of cool thing that these all come with is your little tools box. They say it plural there. This one's actually a jumbo sized box that comes with that loader, or sorry, excavator. This one came with that little skid steer, and there's decent size difference. This comes with a grease gun, your different attachments for it. Here's one of your little needle point bearing greasers. Comes with a screwdriver, and even it is the style that flips over. So you got Phillips and flathead. Now I can't put it back together. And then this one came with this whole assortment here. You got 2 big Allen keys, an 8 and a 10 on those, and then combination wrenches all the way up to a 36. Yeah, 36. And 2 caps for your hydraulic lines, which is pretty cool. All right, one thing to point out about that little toolkit, as convenient as it is that they send tools with it, they didn't send the right size for all of your boom bolts. This 32, 36, 32 is a little bit too small, and 36 has got a lot of slop. I wouldn't want to reef down on it with it being that sloppy. The size is actually a 1 5/16 inch. So SAE fits on there perfect. And I've checked all of them down here. It seems to fit all of those quite well. So if you're buying one, even if it's a different brand, you might want to look and see if you can find a good set of SAE sockets too. But that's it for me. I hope this little walk around helped you. Like I said, I'm going to make a separate video for it as operation. That way I can keep them kind of short here and show them off a little bit. If you want to see more like this or other mechanical and automotive content, think about hitting that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.